Good morning. Today is Labor Day, and labor is one of the most important ingredients of the productivity of any country. But labor need not only be manual, it can be brain work as well. And Canada has always boasted that it is a knowledge based economy, that this country's knowledge based industry is the cutting edge of its economy. Great. We have had great inventions, great innovations, right from telephone to BlackBerry. But when I was talking to the director of Dr.Lamba Institute in Toronto, he was on the verge of tears. And his agony was that the number of the people coming in research is getting reduced despite all the hoopla and all the noise made by the government agencies. And secondly, whenever they come in, slowly and steadily they're the weeding out. Now, people who join research have to have a different mindset. And it's very attractive to see your name in print, to come on the television and talk about your new inventions. But it's a very hard work. It's actually really the most hard work you can ever imagine is to do research, and that too original research. As a matter of fact, inventions are never a result of an end in view, they happen to be a byproduct. But innovation and knowledge definitely requires a research-oriented mindset, which calls for dedication, hard work, sincerity, and no-nonsense approach. Now, when we were discussing, the director said that one of the biggest problem is that now the funding is actually based on gender equality system. I was reminded of the same inane, stupid, and unworthy concern that happens in India about the reservation. It's fine to have gender equation, as it's fine to uplift the oppressed classes. But to reserve the seats based on your caste or on your gender here in Canada is very much harmful to real research or real work anywhere. The day you start discounting merit at the altar of political expediency, whether it would be the upliftment of the downtrodden or equality factor in the genders, that is the death knell of real research. Madame Curie, when she invented radium, did not invent based on the funding given to her because she was a woman, but because she was a scientist. And now, something very curious emerged when we were talking. He says that when the students first come, 65% of them are women. Well, the gender equalization is there, but slowly and steadily, by the time they graduate, their number reduces to 50%. Again, fair enough. But at the post-doctorate level, they are not even 30%, and slowly and steadily their number is reduced. Now, there are various factors for that. It takes 5 to 7 years to do your doctorate. Another 5 to 7 years to do your postdoctorate. And in this period, if you do some research, the credit is given to you, but maybe you get 25 to 30% of the credit. The real credit goes to your supervisor and to your guide. Well, that's not fair. I appreciate. And then how much are paid? A grand sum of $30,000 a year. Now imagine spending 10 to 12 years of your life, and that period of life, which is the most productive period, for about $30,000 a year. That's not even a living wage. And they don't work for 8 hours a day. A real researcher may be working for 18 hours a day. There are no fixed hours. I have seen people working and staying in the laboratories. As I have seen people spending their days and nights doing their research, sitting in the libraries. Now, giving them this royal kingly sum of 30,000 is a joke. It's a mockery of their work. Come to that. Think of it. The boy in this period, when they are doing research, they get married, they have kids. So one of them has to renounce the glorified research for the sake of mundane, ordinary necessities of life. They have to feed their children, they have to feed themselves. They need a shelter to live in. They need a car to transport themselves. And if both of them are working and getting a princely sum of $60,000, how can they do justice? We have seen that an average family income of an average Canadian family is $80,000, out of which 42.4% goes in taxes. Now, if it's $60,000 and approximately $20,000 goes in taxes, they are left with $40,000. What sort of research you expect? Okay, even if you expect research, because research has no monetary, it's supposed not to have a monetary gain, but then keeping body and soul together is an important aspect, and we don't do that. Thirdly, the commercial exploitation. When they have done a research, they have invented something, they have come up with a new process, they have got it patented. And incidentally, even the story of patenting is a very dicey thing. It's long, it's hazard, and it's expensive. So they get it patented. But patent by itself has no significance till a commercial organization comes up and starts commercially exploiting that patent. Again, that takes a long time, because there'll be lab trials, there'll be field trials, and maybe after 5 to 6 years it will be fully commercially viable. And during that period, that researcher and that scientist may be living on handouts. If that is the situation, how do you expect the research mind to be really working, the research to be really productive? The agony of the director was justified. Evidently, he had no solution to the problem, nor would anybody have. But then we cannot let the tail wag the dog. The dog has to wag the tail. And that means that we have to take the initiative. The initiative is we have to get over the hangovers of the politically correctness and see that the selection is done not based on merit, but purely, not based on gender, but purely on merit. That anybody who is interested should be given the freedom to do the research and provided, that's the most important part, necessary funds and wherewithal to do it. As a matter of fact, putting any restriction, whether of gender or of caste, or any related and unrelated issue, is striking at the root of the merit. And the day you start striking at the root of the meritocracy, you are hitting the sensitive minds. Even those who are selected would feel that they have come for the sake of, or due to their gender or due to their caste. That's not done. Let the people who enter the research be really research oriented, irrespective of their caste, color, gender, creed, or background. Once they are there, then the second thing is give them wherewithal. You see, there is a curious disconnect between the commercialization and the real research. The contract research is conspicuously less in quantity than it should be. It's normally said that the research cannot be commandeered. It is intuitive. It comes from within. You are doing something and it emerges. That's true to a great extent. But so is the contracted research. I remember when we had to do it in India and I had talked with the CSIR. I told them to start doing it. And one laboratory, National Chemical Laboratory in Pune, was the leading one in that, and they did a lot of work in that. And they were very successful. Same is DRDO, which had a contract research. When the contract research is there, that means the money is coming in. And that money can be used for the other research work as well. There's so much of money. As a matter of fact, there has to be a close connectivity between the commercial organization and the research organizations. And once that is there, the research would take off. Now, why is MIT and Harvard, till today they are number one? It is simply because the large commercial houses are always funding them. Anything they require comes from the large houses. They don't have to depend on the subsidies and handouts with the government. The governmental subsidies are peanuts. And when you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. And that's what's happening in the research here in this country or anywhere else where the government is a major sponsor. Government should be a sport of the last resort. And once it is there, it should have no inhibitions about cutting the corners and cutting the costs. You cut the corners and you cut the costs and you cut the quality of research. Let's not forget that. As I'm always fond of saying, you pay peanuts and you get monkeys. And do you want monkeys to do the research rather than pulsating human beings with vibrant ideas? So the first thing is there has to be close connection between the commercial organizations and the research organizations. Secondly, there should be ample autonomy to the research organizations. You have given them an object in hand, but then all of a sudden they think that if they take route B, it might be more beneficial. If they can explain the commercial aspect, I'm sure the plans can be changed. The plans, the aims should not be cast in stone. They should be fluid and they should be amenable to change as and when needed. And the third is compensation. The compensation to the researchers should be enough so that they do not have to bother about nitty-gritty of life. I'm not saying give them palatial residences. I'm not saying pamper them with the luxuries. But give them the nitty-gritty of life so that at least they do not have to worry about everyday expenses. Pay them at least what an average family income is. If an average family income is 80,000, give them 80,000. If it's 40,000, give them 40,000. If it's 10,000, give them 10,000. Give them what the average family would have earned otherwise. Let the benefit come to them when the invention is commercialized. Now the second part. Many times the research is such where the commercial results may take 20 years to come. You invent a medical treatment for a serious disease. It might take 10 to 15 years before it fructifies, because it's not only the process of field trials and the health trials and approvals by the bodies, but then it's by the acceptance by the medical profession as well. In that case, the profit sharing should be the main thing. When the researcher knows, okay, he's working hard, he's not getting much money today, but when the commercial organization rake in billions of dollars, they'll get a certain percentage. Why can't the royalty be decided, okay, 30% royalty would be there for every research after the commercialization for a period of 100 years? Because they know if a person has done a research at the age of 30 and it takes 10 years before the profits start coming in, he's already 40. At least for the next 40 years or 50 years, he should be assured of the steady returns, and that is the only way is to give them the royalty. We have seen, gentlemen and ladies, that no problem is insurmountable. You have need a will to do it. Does our government have the will to do it? That's the main question. Is our society ready for a change? That's the question. And are we willing to take absolutely different steps, cut off the routine, and take steps that will save the research and make this country proud of its researchers, rather than be apologetic for the poor quality of research? For the last 8 years, Canada is at the rock bottom of innovative economy, and that is because the research is being hampered. It is high time that we take the situation as it is. Do not stand on the false sense of prestige and old age customs, or adopt the altar of politically correctness. Let's be clear-headed. Let's have vision. And Canada can once again reassert itself as a country of knowledge and knowledge-based industry. Thank you.